We didn't. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. You see, if more people would only understand that their suffering is basically taking place inwardly, then they would realize that they are the cause of everything that is happening in their life. You see, poverty is a lack of imagination. It's basically poverty of imagination and also lack of attention, lack of care. Because if you really care for yourself, you'll be honest with yourself and you would look around and you look at nature and you'll see how nature always brings forth bountifully. And if your life is not bringing forth bountifully and you're not happy and you're not in the place that you should be, then you're supposed to really take note and question what is causing what you are facing in life. And you will soon find out that you are actually the cause. You see, in my country, the biggest business actually come from the gathered family. And the people in my country who are working with that company, I can guarantee you that 99.999% of them have a religious and a superstitious mentality. But if you know the origin of that company and you understand how those family end up being in the island, you would know. And I have proof to show that Neville came from a family that owned a slave in Barbados. And if you want me to go back to that particular video and also in the newspaper with the death of Richard Goddard, and where he mentioned that himself before he died, and the person writing the article was just quoting him, and I found that, and I did a video on that, and also I did a blog where I went to some of the places. You can check it out. And the reason why I'm saying all of that, it is because, quite recently, something been happening in my country, and it was today someone drew my attention to what was in the Eyewitness newspaper, which is basically an online paper, where someone was writing an article whereby they were forbidden by the security at the Sandals Hotel, which they just built and just opened about maybe a month or two ago in my country. And I would have written a book called Bukumen Bay Resort and the Messenger. And it is that same Bukumen Bay that they took over when the white man from England, David Ames, stole all of the money. All the people didn't pay the people never been paid. And in that book, I said that the other slave master is going to come. And they're going to bait the people because the so-called leader is going to tell them that these investors are going to offer them more money. And precisely that is what happened. And I mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. That because they wanted to pay them the minimum wage, and the minimum wage in our country, which is just is the lowest, along with Haiti, and Haiti is not a English-speaking Caribbean island. It speak French in Haiti, okay? So when it comes to the English-speaking, it's like the lowest, and they were being paid like $4. They've been paid before like $4 minimum, and he carried up to $7 just to accommodate This whole thing with sandals. And these are things that sometimes you don't even want to talk about because the people are so political minded and they have such a lack and scarcity mentality and they're in survival mode. They will cause enemy. They will hate you for trying to educate them, to show them that everything is created twice, first in the mind. And that whatever suffering they're facing is because they're suffering in their imagination. Because they're not using the imaginative, creative, infinite power that they can definitely use to achieve the every desire. And the reason for that is because they believe in an outside Lord and Savior and a master, and only slaves need master. Because you're supposed to be the master of your destiny, for it is your own thought that is creating your reality and creating your personality. So when you think that you're suffering more in your reality in terms of the things that are happening outwardly, which are just the effects, and you fail to realize that you are the cause, it is because you're trapped in mental slavery. So my brothers and my sisters, as I do this video, it hurts me a lot to see people can't even go to the beach that they used to go to before without security approaching them. And everywhere sandals go, they try to do these things. And this is the kind of mentality that these people have because they believe that they're so entitled. And the biggest form of slavery that anyone could live in is when you're so brainwashed that you believe that you are superior. And then you're so brainwashed that you believe that you're inferior. But we realize that there's only one power. And all of us is entitled to that one power. Then you will know that the decision you make is what will definitely mean what life you would live on this planet. So if you're going to decide to continue to believe that some man going to come from the sky to save you, and you refuse to use your imagination, you refuse to practice meditation because your pastor tell you that it is evil and it is of the devil, and you fail to realize that the devil is your negative self. If you fail to realize that thoughts become things, if you fail to realize how the mind works, then people come and take over your beaches, buy up your lands, and brainwash you and deceive you in thinking that they provided employment for you when you could provide employment for yourself. You have to know your gift. You have to know your calling. In my country, when people think about fitness, they think about me. People are approaching me every day. They want me to personal train them. They want me to help them in this, that. And I make sure I master the game. I get in shape anytime. And I can get anyone in shape. So when you know who you are, you don't chase after money. Money will chase you. Because your gift would always make a way for you. That is why my brother, my sister, it's time for all people to realize that religion is keeping you not knowing who you are. It's time for people to realize that they were programmed with false education that only prepare them for the fields, that only prepare them for the plantation. And do you realize that same area, Bukomembe Resort, it used to be a plantation. And so my brothers and my sisters, I would encourage you to get that book, Bukomembe Resort, and the messenger wrote about it. And I said that after what David Ames would have done, and as I speak right now, David Ames is in prison in England, not for what he did in my country, or for other things he did in England. Because you realize these people could come in these spots and do anything, they get away with it. I remember down in the Grenadines many years ago, the Fletchers, a husband and a wife, came here more than a man, and they get away. It was all on CNN and all of those things, trying to say how prisons down in these parts, dilapidated conditions and this and that. My brother, my sisters, time for our people to wake up and to get rid of that idol Jesus. It's time for our people to start to curse that idol, shit on that idol. It's an idol. You see, I don't go wrong trying to convince anyone. Okay? I try to treat everyone with respect because I understand energy, vibration, and frequency. And I understand how arrogant our people could be when they really believe that academic education is the key. And when they believe Christianity, secular Christianity is the key. And the reason why I can understand it is because I know how our people have been programmed. I look at the school system and see how much they program and brainwash the children. And I'm not going to try to change the system. I know I can change me. And I know you can change you. And I know if you change one at a time and you become the change that you want to see, that's all you need to do. Become the change that you want to see. Stop talk, and pointing fingers and blaming. That's why my brother and my sisters, practice to use your imagination. Learn to calm your mind down. Stop chasing after money. And learn to tap in to your ability and your creativity. That's the most important thing. So my brother and my sisters, most people, because they focus the energy on the outside, they think they're suffering more in reality when they're actually suffering in the imagination. There's a lack of imagination. They don't realize that imagination is guarding man. In other words, man's awareness of being. Remember that your imagination, your subconscious mind, your invisible self predates every book that's been written. Was before everything. Sometimes it gets to me. So how a person can realize that no book could be written. And it was a first thought, a first an idea, a first imagine. Could you imagine, right? They tell you that a man was in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights by himself alone, and was tempted. So how they get to write the story? That man have to tell them the story, right? It means when you get your experiences on your own, but no. That's what it means. No man to talk.